Welcome to your application and interview for being a Conservative Member of Parliament and maybe one day Prime Minister. What are your qualifications today? I'm rich. That's a very good qualification, one that we look for in every Conservative MP. Now, on here it says you have 4 houses, is that correct? Yeah, but I'm hoping to get about 10 by the time that I'm finished being a Conservative Member of Parliament.
I'm too dishy for this case. Just check my dishy face. They call me Dishy Rishi. I'm so dishy, I can say what I like. Increase your wages, but add a tax hike.
Yeah.
Here's lots
Don't
of
forget to
money
like, subscribe and share the channel. It helps us with the YouTube algorithm and helps us to get us out to more people. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today Rishi Sunak is officially the Prime Minister because there was nobody else for the job. Nobody else applied. It's the first black, Asian, technically not ethnic minority because we've got Benjamin Disraeli, and he's the youngest Prime Minister for 210 years, since 1812. The one person that could have beat him, Boris, dropped out. He's done it all by backstabbing his friends, his previous leader and boss, and having no competition whatsoever in the most undemocratic, steadfast leadership contest the Conservatives have ever seen. So, last night, Boris sensationally dropped out, proclaiming that he had 102 MPs, a seconder and a proposer, but he still backed out. He says he could have been down the street by Friday. Boris Johnson felt as though he couldn't unite the party, that the person who had done exactly the same as him got fined for Partygate, towed the line about Partygate, saying, oh, it was no rules were broken. Only the fucking rules you made up. Everything Boris did, Rishi has done. Rishi, towards the end, was like, oh, I'm close to a promotion to be Prime Minister. And Boris is like, what's that in my back? Rishi, get off. Get out of here, you little rascal. Boris Johnson's statement in full reads, I'll only read you a few segments of it. In the last few days, I've been overwhelmed by the number of people who suggested that I should once again contest the Conservative Party leadership, both among the public and among friends and colleagues in Parliament. I have a feeling a lot of your colleagues in Parliament don't like you, despite the fact that you would save them from total electoral oblivion. I've been attracted because I led our party into a massive election victory less than 3 years ago, which they clearly don't give a fuck about now, clearly don't give a fuck about for the next general election. We'll see how they do. And I believe that I'm therefore uniquely placed to avert a general election now. There is a very good chance I would be successful in the election with Conservative Party members and that I could indeed be in Downing Street by Friday. But in the course of the last few days, I've sadly come to the conclusion that this would simply not be the right thing to do. You can't govern effectively unless you have a united party in Parliament. I will say this. Over the weekend, there seems to have been some kind of a coup against Boris. All the media rounds were anti-Boris. Steve Baker, they ordered the rounds saying that having Boris back in would be disastrous. No, it would probably save the Conservative Party from oblivion. So Rishi Sunak has today been proclaimed Conservative Party leader, quite undemocratically, with only 100 odd MPs supporting him. No Tory membership vote whatsoever. No general election. No real mandate to lead 5th or 6th Prime Minister in 6 years. The pound even went up against the American dollar 0.4%. All those globalist banks like, oh, we've got somebody in who will steal the pennies from the British people. He will tax those fuckers until they're dead and we love it. Taxes. And one commentator in the public even commented this. She says, Sunak coronation smells of a stitch-up if there is no election and no runoff with Mordaunt. Every time they have done it, they have been punished. And believe me, they will be punished at the polls. Nobody, apart from Boris, had a real mandate to lead the party. He is the guy that got the biggest majority. I agree with Keir Starmer. There needs to be a general election. I would love to see the results. So, who is Rishi Sunak? Who is our next Prime Minister. His parents are of Indian origin. They came from South Africa, and Rishi Sunak was born in 1980 in Southampton. He is going to be the first British Asian Prime Minister. Basically, he's going to be the first black Prime Minister. Let's put it the right way. Let's just get out there. He's going to be the first black Prime Minister. All those Tory members, they're like, oh, you know, if we get Sunak in, he's black, so we can actually tick that box. Fuck you! He's only been an MP for 7 years. He's made the record for the fastest transition between being an MP and being Prime Minister. And the reason that he's done that is because he's rich as fuck and stabbing his leader in the back. He was in charge of the COVID support cash. Do people remember that? He was late with furlough. He only gave people furlough when he was really pushed to the edge. And he wrote billions off in COVID fraud. He's the reason that the economy is in this state in the first place. He caused it with his mishandling and mismanagement. He caused this. Make no mistake. He is the guy that put everybody's national insurance up. He wasn't going to reverse it. We also found out that his wife actually paid no tax, UK tax, on earnings abroad. She was non-domiciled. Also, that Rishi Sunak had a green card and could permanently live in America, where he studied, whilst he was UK Chancellor. He also campaigned for Brexit, although you never see him, but he'll make sure he uses that line to win over those Brexiteers. Yeah, I supported you, Brexiteers. Where were you? Ah, shut up. And last but not least, he really wanted to be a Jedi. He also admitted on video for diverting funds away from poorer, shittier areas, basically like the one I live in. Fuck you, poor motherfuckers. Work harder. We're going to move all the money that we gave you and give it to my rich friends in the Tory shires. That is how the Tory works, and that is how they always do things. Don't worry about those formulas we inherited from Labour. We'll get rid of them. We hate poor people. Watch the video.
That they deserve, because we inherited a bunch of formulas from the Labour Party that shoved all the funding into deprived urban areas. Then that needed to be undone. I started the work of undoing that.
He also said that he has aristocrat friends and middle class friends, and no, not working class, not those stinky peasantry proletariat motherfuckers.
To aristocrats, I have friends who are upper class. I have friends who are, working class, but I'm not working class.
He is not on your side. He is not on our side. He is for the rich. He is for the global elite. And he is rich as fuck. His wife is worth £700 million. She receives £11 million a year in dividends alone from her shares in Infosys. Rishi Sunak's next steps from this is to see the King Charles III, and Charles will ask Rishi, will you form a government in my name? Rishi will then go back to Downing Street, give a big speech, and he'll have 2 shitty years in Downing Street. And I hope to God now that what happened to Boris happens to him. What he did to Boris, I hope happens to him, because he deserves it. He is not a candidate for unity. He's the one for disunity. He caused half of the issues we have right now. He caused inflation. He certainly didn't handle inflation very well. He caused the biggest tax burden in this country since World War II. This guy is not on your side. And I swear to God, and I hope there is a general election soon, because I will not be voting for these champagne democratic blue cunts. Thank you for watching. Until the next time, see you later.
I'm too dishy for this case. Just check my dishy face. They call me Dishy Rishi. I'm so dishy, I can say what I like.